as things stand at the moment, hanging in the balance and really a time now for things to go up one notch to the Supreme Court of Appeal.
Yes, I think it's a very important point you're making. Of course, the SCA or the Constitutional Court can still decide that Moshe was right, can overturn the Dwaba's judgment. In that case, Zuma is safe. In the meanwhile, what does Shaun Abrahams do? What does the NPA do? The case, as I said previously, is active again. The case, the docket is active. Zuma is again an accused. Moshe's decision has been nullified. What do they do with this? Do they just keep it on ice until the appeals have been finalized? I think that's what he's going to settle for.
What happens with McCarthy? Is there any kind of sort of disciplinary action against him? Is there any consequence for the way that he was involved in kind of meddling and trying to sort of, influence the decisions? And then it seemingly did, if you look at what happened with Moshe.
Judge Dwaba was very critical of McCarthy's actions, as he should have been. McCarthy acted very improperly. He said that he broke his oath of office, that he acted unlike a prosecutor. He's now working for the World Bank. He's head of investigations at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. He's not speaking to any South African journalists. We've tried to find him. We've tried to get comment. He doesn't speak to any journalist. He doesn't want to get involved. He literally almost fled the country with his family, lives in the United States now. I can't see anything happening with him unless he comes back to South Africa, and that will be a risk for him to come back because he might be charged with something like perjury or defeating the ends of justice, whatever the NPA decide in the end. What Dwaba said was, how did Moshe bring McCarthy's misaction to withdrawing charges against Zuma?
Yes.
He felt that that wasn't the proper remedy that was needed at the time. And that was, I thought, a very good and crisp explanation given by the judge. But yes, McCarthy is in trouble if he comes back to South Africa.
So he's gone rogue. And Moshe?
Well, Moshe became an acting judge in the Land Claims Court in Randburg in Johannesburg. A lot of speculation at the time that he was almost awarded for this decision by Jeff Radebe, the then Justice Minister and an ally of President Zuma. He's never been appointed as a full judge. I don't know if he feels today proud of himself. I don't know if he's proud of this decision, proud of his career as a prosecutor who's landed up as an acting judge with no prospect of being appointed a full judge. If ever he applies for a full judge position, this case will definitely come back to haunt him. I'm sure the Judicial Service Commission will have questions to ask of him because of his actions in this matter, so it doesn't look great for him either.
Yeah. One of the things that we hear time and again when there are these doomsday speakers who sort of, rubbish South Africa and its future is the importance of the judiciary. And even Zizi Kodwa of the ANC today was at pains to state the respect for the judiciary. That's becoming more and more of a theme in contemporary politics. Is that a good thing, or is it kind of the last kind of hope before things begin to crumble? To simplify the argument.
Yes, now I've heard that point, but I think the judiciary is strong as ever. I think our judiciary has just proven again today, as they did in the Nkandla matter in the Constitutional Court, how strong, vibrant and independently minded they are. And without caring that it's the president involved in a case, they literally dealt with the cold facts in front of them, with the facts of this case, with the facts of the Nkandla case, and based their comments on that. And I think it's great that the ANC and all other commentators appreciate this and praise this independence of the judiciary. Of course, we've heard in the past comments, unfortunate comments, by people like Zuma and Gwede Mantashe, the ANC Secretary General, that the judges are counter-revolutionary, that they belong to a era gone, and that the transformation of the judiciary should somehow lead to different kind of judgment coming out of there. I think the judiciary is strong. They've proven themselves to be very independent. What we've seen today is a full bench of judges in the North Gauteng High Court agreeing with each other, as we saw in the Constitutional Court. And I think it's a real reason to celebrate. I also think that the powers and the independence that was confirmed today by the judge of the NPA, and specifically the NDPP, the head of the NPA, is crucial. Shaun Abrahams shouldn't take this judgment lightly, as I'm sure he won't. This spelled out today that any decision you take as head of the NPA to stop a prosecution must be properly motivated, must be dealt with diligently. You cannot merely quote other jurisdictions and think that that will fly in South Africa, specifically when those jurisdictions were overturned, as Judge Dwaba pointed out today. And I think Shaun Abrahams should be a worried man. He should be looking at this very seriously and know that whatever decision he takes in future about the Zuma case will have legal ramifications for him and for the body of the NPA.
So it's really an indictment on Moshe more than it is any reflection on the kind of merits of the case that now need to be heard if it indeed goes to court. So in that sense, people who are loyal to President Jacob Zuma are quite right to say, well, Judgment Day is still out on this, but it does need to see its time in court.
Absolutely. There must be no confusion. The court didn't say today anything about President Zuma's guilt or not. All the court said was it was not up to Mshe to make the decision that the spy tapes fatally undermined the validity of the rest of the case.
And that's what was irrational.
That was irrational. That should go to a court of law, put it in front of a judge, put the tapes in front of him, hear what the NPA has to say, call the people who made the recordings, people like Richard McLooley, who knows, call President Zuma to give his version of events and then make a decision. That's what this case was about. It was not about the veracity of those 783 payments.